Welcome to Nerd Cabal. Tonight, we continue our liturgy on Wizard People Dear Reader, the glorious retelling of a certain wizard boy. The ritual begins now. Hello everyone, welcome back to Nerd Cabal. I'm your host, Cohesive Key, here with my co-host, Enviroboy. Say hi.
What up? Another day in paradise.
We left off on chapter 11, Fuck Yes, Says Fate, and now we're on to chapter 12, Fortune's Grind. And just as a reminder, they just crossed the lake, and they're heading into Hogwarts, and this is getting into the Sorting Hat ceremony now. Chapter 12. So the children file into a glorious cafeteria where all the other pre-sorted students and teachers are awaiting the ceremony. A welcoming flute song accompanies their entrance as candles float in midair under a ceiling that appears to be made out of glass entirely. The faculty table is full of weirdo professors and goblin-faced women. There are floppy hats. There are floppy hats and pointy head decorations. The true markings of master magicians, because everybody knows. There's nothing more iconic than floppy head decorations for master magicians.
I loved also the use of magicians in that. It feels so much more hokey to just say magicians than it does to say witches and wizards, right?
Yeah,
just because of the connotation involved. Like it feels so much more like dude with a hokey cape and a top hat and a little rabbit running around. It's so good.
That was kind of the idea of like Dumbledore's original outfit in like some of the art of the first novel, if you recall. His hat looked a lot like one of those hokey wizard hats. Like he was gonna pull a freaking quarter out of your ear.
Yeah, he's just like he's that guy who like it's like you're asking for a napkin at dinner and he just pulls like 7,000 out of his sleeve, like oh.
Old Professor Dumbledore, that old sneak. Hagar, Cromley, and friends sit awaitingly. Cromley.
Wait, hold on. Do we? Is it ever confirmed which one is Cromley?
I have no fucking idea. I don't know. But are they talking about like Alistair Cromley, the old Prime Minister of England? Who is Cromley supposed to be?
Right.
I have no idea.
I don't. It's so good, and like, because when I think about the film too, like, I don't even know if it's ever really clear like which professor he's supposed to be sitting next to. It's like one of the nameless members of the faculty that must be present, even though it's none of the subjects that the like Harry and them take. So I always just assumed it was one of them, but just like taking the moment to pause, it's like, wait, who the hell is that?
Now the rest of the professors are B.D. Cooper, Bigfoot, and friends.
Of course,
a bunch of nameless.
All of the most famous figures,
weirdos. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the first clip.
Do it.
Professor Dumbledore erects himself slowly and tells some jokes about death that most of the kids just don't get. He then, after warming up the crowd, introduces the blood-eyed cat that is head of security, and then introduces the cat's manservant, Dazzler.
I love the name Dazzler to the point that I frequently use Dazzler as like my rival in Pokemon games and whatnot. I love the concept of just naming someone
that's a
Dazzler.
Great idea, Dazzler.
Right?
That's so great.
It's so great. It's so stupid. I love it so much.
I make my rival in Pokemon Queerman sometimes.
Oh, that's solid. That's a good one too. That's a good one too. No, I love the concept of Dazzler as a name. I don't know why that one tickles me. I can't articulate why. It's exactly up my alley. I love it.
So to people who it's not obvious to, when you're watching the movie with the commentary on top, you see Filch and Mrs. Norris being introduced, but instead of Filch being not head of security, but the caretaker, it is Mrs. Norris, who is AKA the blood-eyed cat of security,
The
who
blood-eyed
is head of
cat.
security. And then his manservant is Dazzler Filch. Probably it might be the best name change in the whole commentary, in my opinion.
I think that one tied with and we'll get to it later, so I'll try to not I won't give the spoiler yet, but the name switch for Madam Hooch is
gotcha.
We'll that one's one of my favorites. That one, because I feel like that one's the right level of like subtle and amusing, because you have to actually be paying attention to the movie to understand that name change. But that one tickles me.
Yeah, that's a really good one too. But moving on, he then closes with another joke about death, perplexing some and just plain scaring most of the kids. He sits down finally. that little line just tickles me. It's so random.
I also do just love the concept of Dumbledore being like much less coherent and much more like, your grandpa just kind of off in his own world, turning his hearing aids off. I kind of love that idea.
We kind of see that in like the second to last chapter with, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Some of Dumbledore's mannerisms in this version remind me of when I was on a cruise ship with my wife, and it was a cruise ship that was mostly elderly folks, which was fine with us. We were looking for a relaxing cruise, not an exciting getaway.
Yeah, once you're not in college, those are the ones to go to.
And let me tell you, Boomer Talk, it is depressing. Most of what they talked about was their medical conditions and people they knew who had died recently. And I'm like,
she died 30 years ago.
It's like, my God. But anyway, so that reminds me a little bit of this version of Dumbledore. Hardcastle announces that it is time to begin. Her manners are that of a jilted lover's "I didn't love him anyway" sort of mood. Great stuff.
That's such an interestingly specific thing to describe too.
I know. And this is not a female writer who created this commentary. It's a male writer.
Right.
I have to say this is very, very creative. I wonder, he's drawing like some tropes from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't exactly describe Hardcastle's mannerisms as that, but it's certainly a funny descriptor.
I was gonna say, I love the description. I would never have like pulled that one out of my sleeve for describing it. But I mean, then again, most of the way Brad Neely does this stuff is not anything I would consciously be able to come up with. I wish I was that. No,
he's on another level, isn't he?
He lives in an entirely different galaxy.
I know, a galaxy I wish I could be a part of. I want to be.
I just want to visit. I just want to go on vacation there at least.
The child sorting hat ceremony begins with the wretched harmony. So why don't you read the next line?
The child. Is it in the middle?
The child sorting hat ceremony begins with the wretched harmony, and don't worry, I'll edit this out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I always lose track of it when I look at the split screen.
Oh, no worries.
There it is. Okay, yeah, I see it. The child sorting hat ceremony begins with a wretched harmony. A wise child she is, and reminds herself not to freak out up there in front of everyone. The poor thing has complex on top of complex. She perches on a seat up in front of all the kids, and Hardcastle places an oogity boogity hat on top of her hair. It grind dances on Harmony's head and grumbles pleasurably. Gryffindor. Applause all around, and Harry thinks to himself that this will be a long, long night.
Sorry. I have to say I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea of a grind dancing hat on top of a little girl's hair, on top of a little girl's head. I'm like, that's a little yuck.
Right.
But the oogity boogity descriptors just
it's so good when you look at it. It 100% looks like oogity boogity. Yeah, that's so on point.
It's one of those things where like I didn't even think about it until he mentioned that, and you're like, my God, it really does look like Oogie Boogie.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that, but now that you say it, I can't unsee it.
Yep. Next up, Mouth Oil is called to face the grinding hat, but before his ass cheeks can even start to pancake out on the stool, he is assigned to Slytherin.
I love that line. Or his ass cheeks even started to pancake out.
So, as the Sorting Hat ceremony is continuing, Harry in the video portion, Harry looks over and sees Snape, and that leads us to this part. Right then, a wicked woman casts a look at Harry that makes his scar hurt. And then I'll get to the next clip.
Yeah.
This is the weirdest woman Harry has ever seen. A dark, foreboding weirdo that Harry feels certain will be the kind of teacher that paddles for fun.
So, may this be the best plot change in this? I don't know. There's a lot of contenders for that.
It's
changing Snape into a wicked woman is hilarious.
Like the thing about this one too, that like this is what makes it too bad that we're doing it in podcast form, is because if you haven't seen it, like this is one of those ones where the lineup of the spoken lines with what's happening in the video is just immaculate, because like that when he drops the "a wicked woman," like he says it with the intensity you hear in the clip that we shared there, and it just like does the snap cut to Snape sitting there. And it's just such a good, like, it's one of the earlier, like, kind of like jump laughs almost, like a jump scare, but of joy. And like it's one of the earlier examples of that, and it's just so spot on.
And the ouch is perfectly in time with when Daniel Radcliffe does the ouch. So it's another keystone moment to make sure that the audio is synced up. And as a reminder, the way that you used to have to watch this is syncing up a CD or an MP3 file while you're watching the movie on mute.
Yeah.
I was listening to a different podcast recently, which was talking about that, which is, it's called Potterless. Shout out to Potterless. I enjoy your stuff. But anyway, they were saying that it's a YouTube series, and I'm like, that deserves a correction. This is not a YouTube series.
It might be nowadays, but
I digress.
Yeah.
Moving on. Ronnie the Bear is up next for the hat, and Ronnie is sure that the hat will bear down on him and hunch away at his scalp for nothing. Everyone knows that weasels are put into Gryffindor. Ronnie's 20 brothers and 12 sisters are all Gryffindor students, alumni, or faculty. The obvious is true. Gryffindor, it is. And then in the next part, Hardcastle calls up Harry Potter, and he has to go up and sit. He has to go up and sit on the stool, and the hat gets put on his head. And what it says is, Harry doesn't want to bunk with Mouth Oil, but the hat starts in about Harry's potential and how it could blossom wickedly in Slytherin school. And then this is a pretty good like bit of inner thought that Harry has in the commentary, which is, Harry only winces at this constant bombardment of pressure to impress. This damned hat, all these fucking kids and teachers looking at him like he's a fucking television. Oh, fuck it. Don't put me with Mouth Oil.
It's like it's such a fun one too, because this is one of those examples how, like, because we talk about how like he does so much of the unreliable narrator stuff where he kind of like bounces between being like omniscient or being like in the kids' heads or being watching it with the audience. Like he like kind of mid tangent there, he kind of swaps his perspective on it, because it starts off like describing what Harry's doing, and then it at some point in time just transitions to like the narrator
Suddenly
is
narrating
Harry's
Handy. Suddenly he's narrating Harry.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's just good. I don't know. It's such an interesting. It's an example of it, and it shows how he's able to use it effectively rather than just make it weird and inconsistent.
Yeah, it's good. It's very fun. But he gets sorted into Gryffindor. Everyone goes apeshit. They're so happy about it. But Harry just hopes he can pound a few cold ones. And that's the end of chapter 12.
He can pound a few cold ones.
Hopes he can pound a few cold ones. The next chapter is chapter 13, which is called Food and Phantoms. Dumbledore casts his Stand Without Effort spell, following it with his most pleasing Food of Plenty spell. It's great how all these mundane acts are categorized as spells.
I love the idea of some dude being so just like old and decrepit that he needs to cast a spell to stand up. It's so
It reminds
stupid.
me of it reminds, like I think I told you before, I'm on a Knights of the Old Republic kick right now. It reminds me of Darth
Yeah.
Scion, who is literally kept alive by the dark side of the Force. Otherwise, he would
Yeah.
die from his injuries. Just slightly reminiscent of that.
It's oh man, it just like to me, it just like you know what it makes me imagine? It makes me imagine those like super fancy wheelchairs that they give old rich people that can like elevate them into a standing position. It makes me think of one of those.
Oh yeah. I think I've seen one of those on like a TikTok or something.
Yeah, where it's like it's actually a really cool piece of technology. I don't mean to disparage it, but just like that's the imagery that I get is like him casting a spell and he just sort of like weirdly jerkily stands up as the machinery just like slowly elevates him.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, hold on, almost there.
Yeah. So the food appears. There are piles of glitzy meat and sweetbreads. There are sweaty corns and honeyed everything. These are
Corns.
Yeah, this is a really great description of like delicious looking food. Sweaty corns. Not the most pleasant thought, but when you say sweaty corns, you can really visualize it.
Oh, you know exactly what he says. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest, like as much as the word sweaty isn't something I would typically want to describe my food, when I think about it in terms of like sweaty corns, it's like, yeah, you know what? That just sounds like an ear of corn that's like fresh off the grill. Like
Nice
that sounds
moist corn.
it sounds delicious. I want that.
Sorry for the trigger warning for the word moist. Sorry about that.
I've never been bothered by that one. I know that one gets a lot of people rustled, but like I've never had a problem with the word moist.
Rustle some jimmies. Don't worry, I'll bleep it out.
Bleep out every time we say it so that way nobody knows what word we're actually talking about.
What word were they describing?
It could be anything.
So,
he could be saying anything right now. He could be saying hot dog. He could be saying like turbulence. We don't know.
So Harry relaxes into a winish swagger because he's a goddamn drunk. He talks closely with his RA. And then that brings me to the next clip.
Hey, who the fuck is that woman over there? She's gotta be a half troll. The RA replies, no, that's Professor Snake. She sucks for the most part, you know, acting mysterious and theatrical. God, I hate that shit, replies Harry. I'm here to learn, not to watch a performance.
That's so good.
She sucks for the most part.
Yeah, that's such a great line.
I just love the delivery, like how like mundane. Yeah, she sucks for the most part.
Once again, between verbose and very common language, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So just then, the conversation is busted up by all the ghosts. You know, they do their dance, they do all their performances. You know, to be honest, looking back at the movie versus the books, the ghosts seem to have like a much bigger part in the books. They are like a tiny footnote in the movie.
The ghosts are nothing in the movie. You have like one conversation with Nick, with nearly his Nick. Yeah, and you have like one conversation with him in the first one, and then they all but disappear, which is like I remember being disappointed that like the Death Day party didn't end up having anything to do with the movies and stuff like that. I remember being kind of bummed about that because I always thought the ghosts were kind of cool, kind of a key, not necessarily a key plot point, but an important like sort of discussion / lore tidbit happens in 5 with Nick as well. And that's just completely glazed over, like not even a thought in the movies.
No, he's not even. I don't even know if the ghosts are really in the other movies for the most part. You've got
not really. They're kind of just there as like scenery. Like you'll occasionally see them fluttering around if they're trying to make it look extra magical and spooky for like a Halloween scene or something. I'm curious to know if like the new series that they're working on for it, if they'll be able to like with it being in sort of like a each year being a season rather than just one movie. I wonder if they'll be able to like have more time and include those types of things.
That's what I assumed they were going to do, but I mean,
I mean, like that seems to me like that's what the point would be to be able to do that kind of stuff. But I never, I make no claims to understanding what on earth goes on in Hollywood because they make a lot of decisions that I question in the end.
That are bizarre, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway. A ghost dance begins, and the kids watch as transparent mashing of flash dances and footlooses fogs up the rafters of mealtime. But then the dance ends, Dinner ends. Every student's belly is distended with jelly, wine, and pudding pops. The dinner is over. And then the RAs guide the new Gryffindors into the stairwell. The stairwells are a maddening mobile architecture that forever fuck up the students' days by moving here and there without warning. You want to read the next line there?
Yeah, absolutely. The kids climb stair after stair ad infinitum. Oh my gosh, I can never say that word. Ad infinitum. Some talk about art, others simply concentrate on not vomiting from the intense vertigo. After all of the wine and the meat that all of these children have eaten, they're just hoping to finally get to their rooms so that they may use the potty and acquaint themselves with the water closets.
Yeah.
Which is funny, that's a redundant statement, but
Now, honestly, there's not a whole lot more to describe in like the remaining lines. It's just kind of like a little bit of rigmarole, but they get introduced into the parlor. Now, I do enjoy this part. Smoking, cards, and nightcaps will all be the room's main functions for the kid. The RA goes on to explain. So I guess Harry's not the only alcoholic. All these kids are drinkers. That's normal in Great Britain, right? No.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, most of the world definitely has a lower drinking age than America. I don't think it's quite like, 11-year-old young, but
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it is. I don't know. I don't pretend to understand the world. I live in America. I don't get media from outside of the world. I'm not allowed to. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure
Why
at
would
this
you
point in
want
time
to?
it would get me deported, but we'll refrain from that line of discussion.
Why would you want anything that's not American? I mean,
Yeah,
what are you,
right?
some
It's
kind of what are you, some kind of
ridiculous.
communist?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, all the kids go to sleep. Amid the semi-sweet chomping at headgear, we see Harry stroking his bird, lost in thought, bathed in the cold water of moonlight. Who am I now? He thinks as he winks at the night, and it seems to whisper back to him, "You are everything." Very
You are
dramatic.
everything. I
That
love
was
that he like acknowledged the tiny little wink that Radcliffe does at that moment because it's absolutely there, but it's the type of thing where I'm 90% sure like it wasn't an intentional thing. It was just like a little eyelid twitch that
I'm
that like the
100% sure.
directors and their editors thought was cute and they left it in or something
I
rather
am
than
nearly
using a different take.
100% sure. I think that Dan Radcliffe was just blinking there, and it was
Yeah.
like a weird blink, and that's that. And now it's there for posterity. It belongs to the ages now.
It's been immortalized by Mr. Bradifer. And there it is.
Yep. And that ends chapter 13, and we are on to chapter 14, which is called First Day Sucks It. Harry awakes to yet another tequila sunrise. He and Ronnie the Bear are lost and late for their first class. They finally find their way there though, but there's no teacher. But in unison, their faces scream, "Holy freaking balls!" as the cat has been Professor Hardcastle this whole time.
Hardcastle this whole time.
So that's McGonagall being an animagus. It's showing her turn back into her human form.
I will refrain from getting into it because it's not the point of this podcast to actually discuss Harry Potter lore proper. But I have so many like loophole lore questions and gripes about the concept of animagi in the Harry Potter world. And about what is and isn't allowed to count for magic and transformation into an animal and everything. So I have so many world building bones to pick about that, but I will digress it. I just want the world to know that I am dissatisfied with how animagi are presented and described within the official Harry Potter lore.
Add it to the list of plot holes and loopholes that Harry Potter lore has. I mean,
I don't know if you want to open up that can of worms, man. Like for that one specifically, I can get going on that one.
No. We won't even bring it up. We'll be here too long.
Oh yeah.
She puts together a clever witticism about tardiness and George Washington's trees full of cherries. And Harry makes another mental note. Never pet cats that you don't know. No, never pet anything. Just such a silly little line, but it cracks me up.
Honestly, as much as I absolutely adore my cats and give them all of the scritches in the world, if I lived in a world where I like some random cat could just like randomly become some like dude on the street, I might be more hesitant about it too.
Oh yeah. So next is potions class, which the door is thrown open dramatically, and in dances that black hole of a woman. And when you're watching the actual scene, Snape does like he fucking kicks open that door with gusto.
Oh yeah,
and it
yeah.
slams open. It's-
It
so
is definitely a performance. It's just like the RA was describing at dinner.
I'm here to learn, not watch a performance.
Watch a performance. I hate that crap.
She leans in with her best effort to strike an attractive pose while beginning to whet her students' appetites with a taste of what kind of rhetoric could be expected here. This is a very nice sounding string of words, I think. Very poetic.
Right? All to describe Snape just leaning on a table.
It's a good one. It's a good one, though. Why don't you read the next line? This is a fun one.
Let's see here. The stark impossibility that such a thing could be human, not to mention a human that Harry has to pay attention to, is only matched by Malfoy's apparent infatuation with her. They look into each other's eyes like two serpents on a honeymoon. Professor Snake, astonished that she has an admirer, and Malfoy, astonished that he likes women.
Oh, that's funny. Gay joke.
It's like, I think
that's on
for
brand
me,
for 2004.
I was going to say, it's definitely on brand. Like, it's one of those ones that has aged differently. But what always amused me about that one is even, like, less about the concept of it being a gay joke and more so about it just being, like, the fact that he is, like, absolutely still a prepubescent boy and, like, surprised to find that he likes women.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
Even just from that angle, it cracks me up. Like, I don't know why. That one just tickles me because I think no matter what angle you look at it from, it's funny.
And the actor's look really is a look of absolute admiration.
Oh yeah, they told him they absolutely told oh shoot, what's the actor's name that plays Malfoy? I'm blanking on his name. I hate when I do that. Like, it feels so disrespectful to the actors to have to forget their actual names. But at any rate, he
something
like
Fenton.
that you get.
I remember his first name.
Yeah, something along those lines. But at any rate, they clearly directed him to like look like this is the like you're watching a celebrity, and boy did he understand the assignment.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job actually.
Yeah.
So Harry's just taking notes, but Professor Snake thinks that he's not paying attention and calls him out in front of everybody and rags on his celebrity. Harry's surprised, for he was only just taking notes intently. I'm going to play the clip now.
Do it.
Then Snake demands from Harry how to make a certain spell. Harry good-naturedly says he just doesn't know. I mean, how could he? This is his first day. Christ!
What he's describing there are my exact feelings on this scene. Like,
Oh,
are you
yeah.
kidding me? What a ridiculous request to ask him all these random questions.
Well, and you know what I kind of love about like Neely's delivery of these lines too is like, for me it always kind of like that even like it highlights a lot of my own even personal experience from school. Like, I never understood the concept. Not, I shouldn't say never, but there were many situations in school as a kid growing up. As good of a student, as much of a brown-nosing student as I was, there are many situations where, like, if a teacher would call on people from the class, I'd always be like, well, that really seems fair. You're the one teaching me. How am I supposed to understand this? Like, I don't freaking know the answer. And like the nature of this delivery and like the concept too, for me, of like, I always think about like, everyone always asks like, oh, if you could go back, with your current wisdom and everything. For me, I would just be much more confident in telling a teacher like, I don't know the answer. Leave me alone. You're supposed to teach me. Because that's like exactly the scenario in so many classroom like memories and situations where it's like, you're meant to feel dumb for not answering, but it's like, this is literally the first time you're presenting this information to me in many situations.
How could I understand it? You're more of a fan of the Socratic method of learning, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And just joking around.
All right. Yeah.
And then I've got another clip teed up.
Driven by some unholy jealousy, the unfair Snake presses him again. What is such and such? Or how many rat tails are in minkerfoils? Produce antimatter. Again, Harry, with the oil of Olivier, acts humble, demure even, thankful for the lesson.
That's a great line. And what's funny
Oh
about
my
this line
God.
is at the end of it when Snake calls out, "Produce antimatter," Harmony's hand shoots up, which is just so funny. Oh,
I just
I can
love
do
that
that.
line. Like it's such a left field thing. Like because it's like it's the joke begins of him just like understanding the nature of how magical things are invented within the lore. How many rat tails are in Minkerfoil, right? Like just making up a bunch of nonsense, and then he just out of nowhere just drops produce antimatter. So good.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Oh
And then
man.
once again they bring up the oil of Olivier. They're once again implying that Harry is this all-powerful being, but he's acting like he's just a stupid kid that doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, right. He knows how to blend in.
But it implies that, oh, Harry could produce antimatter if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to give on his abilities.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's trying to play the role here. Like it's a trivial matter for him, really. But he like it's like he's such a student of the world that he has also learned that if you're too smart, it makes people uncomfortable. So you should temper that.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. So Snake finally subsides with her onslaught. She stupidly feels that she has cowed our Harry. And then it moves on to lunchtime. Ronnie the Bear tells Harry he could hardly stand watching him cow to such an asshole back there. But Harry explains to the bear that subtlety and patience are a great way to look pretty cool. And I gotta say, that's just good advice.
I was gonna say
Subtlety and
that's not
patience.
even a joke, really. That's a life tip right there.
It is funny in the context of them like chatting back and forth. That line, but that's just good advice in general.
Oh
Subtlety and
yeah,
patience.
yeah. I'm gonna say it's kind of a different way of saying something that I find to be more and more true in my life. Every year that I live through it, the concept of fake it till you make it. Like if you just play cool and go with it and pretend like you know what you're doing, eventually one day you will be the one who knows what you're doing, and it'll be other people looking to you for advice. And you're not gonna understand how, when, or why that switch has happened, but you'll realize it's happened and suddenly you'll be like, crap, I did it too well, and now I have actual responsibilities. So tread lightly.
Yeah, yeah. We call that the Humphrey Bogart method. So then the mail birds arrive, and some kids get letters, others get ornaments that quickly fill with the mother's blood, which is referring to Neville's Remembrall, or rather Upfish's Remembrall.
Upfishes
Some
remember all.
Now here's a great line. Some desperately wait for their letters to arrive, which shall never, for they are the type of kids that mothers just never write to. Fucking dark.
Right. So sad.
Yeah, that bums me out. But
Right.
now, and here's a fourth wall break. Now, dear readers, if you've ever paid attention to me, now is also a good time.
That
So
was also a good time.
Harry is reading aloud the paper and comments that the Leprechaun Bank that he had been to earlier has now been broken into. It was the same vault where that gunny sack had been. It was busted into by what are suspected to be black art wizards from Valmart's order. Jeepers! The kids
Jeepers.
seemed the kids seemed to smell the beginnings of an adventure here in these facts. The attention-starved Harmony, most of all. And what's really funny about this line, you remember it zooms in on Harmony's face, and it's hard to describe it. She's doing like these weird motions with her eyes and her eyebrows, and kind of chewing on her lips. It's
Yeah.
just perfect for
Yeah.
his commentary
It's
on it.
in so many ways, like the way that Brad does the descriptions of like the visuals of what's happening and all that kind of stuff. In so many ways, I feel like it, whether he intended for this to be a result of it or not, it sheds such a light on what the process is for trying to get child actors like up to snuff. Because like it's just like we were talking about with like with mouth oils, admiration of Snake, and all that kind of stuff. Like when it's called out, you can just see the verbal instructions given by the director to the kids about how to produce the reaction or the inflection or the look or whatever it is to these kids who, like, they're doing a great job for kids, but at the same time, they're kids. They probably hardly know what they're doing and are trying to figure it out as they go. So it's really fun in some ways how, like, while he's doing it as a joke, as a gag, and we're kind of laughing at it, it also, to me, kind of like highlights, like, wow, like there's a lot of work that goes into trying to get solid yet subtle performances out of a kid in this type of
no
setting.
kidding. Martin Scorsese calling out orders. Chew on your lips and raise your eyebrows.
Right? Yeah, it's
Absolute
like, just try to
cinema.
look a little more like, and you can just try to imagine, like, how they would do this. Like, try to look like you're really thinking about something. Like, think about a time you were really confused in class, and try to think about that, and like see if that gets the look out of them. It's like, I can just kind of imagine those types of things, and it's so funny how it's like just some jackass with a recorder making fun of a movie can trigger the sort of the thought process about that for me.
So those kids were initiates into the method acting school. Makes perfect
yeah.
sense now. Think
Yeah,
about
right.
a time when you were really upset about something.
Yeah, right.
And use that moment. Use it.
Use it. Oh, he's using it too much. Oh, he's having a panic attack. Uh-oh.
It's one of
Oh,
this is
God.
one of those
Oh,
things
God, they're
where,
going to get me for child abuse.
this is one of those things where if I'm just watching the movie casually and just trying to enjoy it, I would really never notice like some of these acting gaffes. If I
Right,
was
yeah.
trying to watch the movie in a really snarky manner and like make fun of it, I probably would notice some of these things because I'd be
It's
deliberately trying to look for them.
right, yeah. And it really is just kind of like, I don't know, not to bring like not to force or ham fist a life lesson into it, but it really highlights the concept of how, like, what people always say, where it's like approach things with like a different perspective, a different set of eyes, or something like that, can really change how you view something. It's like, golly, even just in like such simple, innocuous ways like this. It also makes me understand what probably happens at film school.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So that brings us to chapter 15. This one doesn't have a chapter name, at least in the YouTube videos, so I made up one. I called it The Blood Ball Beckons, which is
Oh,
not the
man.
best name, but it's what I came up with.
Hey! Don't be too hard on yourself. I think it's a perfectly sufficient name.
This starts out with the kids like having their first lesson in flying, which Brad calls broomstickers. And why don't you read the next line there?
This morning, Harry does have one thing in common with Malfoil: his mood, a mood of annoyance and pity for his frustrated, easily astonished, and shallow peers. Of course, Harry commands his broom with ease, and like the beginning of dueling banjos, so does Malfoil. Harry later will be displeased with himself for hating everyone today. Professor Catface, Malfoil, Tony the Shrimp, Facer, Yellow, Otter Pop, and yes, even trusty sidekick Ronnie the Bear.
There's a bunch of great name changes there. So I think this is the one you alluded to being up there with your favorite.
Professor Catface
Meowmers.
It's so good because, like, it's such a subtle detail that really doesn't end up playing into anything. But if you notice, it feels like it would be so important. But they 100% gave Madam Hooch very bright yellow cat eyes, like with cat slits and everything. Like they gave her proper context. If you look at it, she's got like cat eyes, and
Why did
it's
they
like
do
such
that?
right. It's such a strange decision, and I feel like I recall something along the lines of, like, in the book, there's like the description of her like having yellow cat-like eyes or something. But they just flat out gave her cat eyes in the movie. And like, it's something that I noticed. And I feel like even as a kid, I was one of like 1 in 5 kids that paid attention enough in the theater to notice that. And so it always just threw me off. And so to have it acknowledged that, yeah, no, that happened. That's a weird thing that happens. And this is just one of my favorites. So calling her cat face meowmers is just so,
I feel
it tickles me.
validated by this. I feel
Yeah.
validated. And I
Plus,
just want
then
to
you
talk
also get
about
the long
line
string of
names.
names in there, like if Tony the Shrimp, Facer, Yellow, Otter Pop, and yes, even trusty sidekick Ronnie the Bear.
Yep. I love those names. are those names like the name of potential like pets, or is that the name of a Coldplay set list? Tony the Shrimp Facer, Yellow, Otter Pop. I love it.
It could be either of them. Although I 100% will say, I could totally see myself at least giving a pet a nickname of Otter Pop.
It's a fucking weird name, and only a
It's
warped creative mind could come up with that.
right, but it's like it's such the perfect level of cutesy for like a pet nickname or something.
Yep. So this is the first scene where Harry drifts off and has a daydream, and then
Oh,
Brad just
yeah,
goes
that's
completely
right.
into fucking left field.
Oh, I
So they're
love it.
starting the flying lesson, and Harry is so bored that he just starts daydreaming. He lets his mind eye take him on an inward exploration.
He sees before him a giant cake, a wedding cake, his parents' wedding cake, and he wants to eat it. But then he realizes that this cake is Dumbledore's hat, and to reach it, he must climb up Dumbledore's body using the old rib cage and mouth, sockets and such as footholds.
And the whole time that this daydream is happening, Neville, or Upfish that is getting himself into trouble
Yep.
and eventually crashes. This daydream is a weak attempt to stay amused during these idiot guide styled classes. And he comes out of his daydream and then realizes that Upfish is injured. Professor Catface Meowmers exits and takes Upfish away from all the jeering urchins. And here's another great name change. Takes Upfish away from all the jeering urchins and up towards the nurses' zone of awesome bedtime suckers. A name for the nurses' ward, I suppose.
If I were to ever end up being any sort of like school nurse, I will 100% put a sign on the door that entitles the nurse's office exactly that.
And, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be suckers as in the candy or if it's supposed to be sucker as in like the archaic term for something that's soothing. Succor.
Oh
I'm not
yeah, it could
completely
be, or it
sure.
could just be a reference to the poor suckers that are sick and have to go to the infirmary.
Oh, it could be any of them. This is the thing about literature.
I was going to say, and honestly, too, knowing the way so much of this is written, I would not be surprised if I ever found out that he intended for all of them to be true all at once. And that's
Yep.
why he chose
Yep.
that word.
Why don't you read the next part?
The kids begin to wrestle with wild nerves, having been awarded time away from a teacher. It seems that Mouth Oil has Upfish's beloved blood ball, threatening to crash it. Harry cannot take it anymore. Ah, fuck this, he says, and he all but punches Mouth Oil right in the head. But Mouth Oil, being in the same little bad boy mood, defies Harry and takes the battle of limits up to the lower stratus. Will Harry defy Professor Catface Meowmers for a chance to totally burn Mouth Oil? The wretched Harmony tries to restrain our Harry, but he is deaf with rage.
So in that line, when he says, "Ah, fuck this," it blends in perfectly with when Dan is just delivering a line to Malfoy.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. I love there's something about also the way he describes, like I can remember, as a kid reading these books and watching the movies, really. I can remember as a kid, like, you feel the strong emotions that are happening, right? And like I can remember as a kid having the strong feeling of like, man, I just want to hit him. And so like the concept of like Brad Neely like saying what we're all feeling with this one, where it's like he all but punches Mouth Oil right in the face. Like there's something gratifying about it.
It's very empathetic.
Right? It's one of those things. It's almost like it's nice to know that I'm not the only one who still sometimes thinks about like just socking a kid in the mouth.
He's the boy you love to hate. And that leads us into our next line.
Their skill is immediately deft. All the boys and girls feel like lower organisms in the wake of their godlike abilities. In dazzling aerial combat, Harry burns Mouth Oil quickly. He gets up Fish's sphere back in a move that mixes martial arts with rainbow magic.
Martial arts and rainbow magic. Do you do any
I-
training in that, Enviroboy?
I definitely do the martial arts. I wish I were more skilled at the rainbow magic component of it. That's the art side of it, honestly, incorporating that, and it takes a true master to achieve it.
Not everybody can be the HP.
It's true.
And,
it's true.
So he comes down and everybody congratulates him, but then he is plucked away from the moment by that asshole, Hardcastle McCormick. Ah, what a horrible day. So she leads him to the Defense of the Black Arts classroom, and she asks Professor Queerman if she can see the student known as Major Wood. Another name change. Wood is captain of the cribbage team, not Quidditch. Cribbage. And Harry sees him as a Greek statue, an Adonis in witch's clothing. Clearly somebody that Harry can relate to. So I really like the name. I really like the name change of Major Wood.
Right. Yeah.
And this descriptor of him as a Greek statue, an Adonis in witch's clothing, is also very. I think it's really funny.
I love Major Wood. Something about it just fits him too. When you look at the actor, it just seems right.
Yep, it's a good one. Now, dear readers, imagine that song, "Eye of the Tiger," for Harry has been chosen as the new Seeker of Gryffindor. Soon, right afterwards, while they're walking, they are accompanied by the Wretched Harmony and cannot go into details about their boys-only style thoughts. But hello! Her usefulness again shows through as she decides to take Harry and Ronnie to the trophy case of honors. Behold, she manages out of her horrible mouth, your dad was also a badass.
Your dad was also a badass.
And it's showing the trophy, showing that Harry's father was also a Seeker.
I always found that part of the book to be such like a Deus Ex moment where it's like, oh yeah,
a little bit contrived. Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, she just happened to know this random thing about a topic, Quidditch, which she proceeds to spend up until then and then beyond that moment absolutely zero interest in. Why would she know something about the history of the sport within the school? It's never addressed ever again.
I know. It's like people who keep track of high school like sports records and track records. Like who the fuck knows that shit?
Right. And it's like, especially it would never be Hermione. And so it's like it's such a strange thing for them to add, and like to the point that it's like it almost feels less strange the way it's presented in the spoof, because it makes more sense for it to just be a gag than for it to actually be what happened.
Yeah. So the next chapter is it's chapter 16, called Jesus Christers. Great name. The trio are making their way through a stairwell, and then the staircase cuts them off because it moves on its own, because that's what the staircases do.
As it does, which is such a horrible, impractical thing. I would be so annoyed if I were trying to get to class and the staircases could just like wantonly screw with me like that. I would be beside myself regularly.
Oh my gosh. If I can go off track for a second, when I was working, because I have a real job. When I was working today, our computer system was it was fucked, and I was trying to get my work done, and it was like a click latency. It was like a click, and then it takes like 5 seconds for it to register. And
that's maddening.
Under my breath, I'm just like, fuck, and it's just getting angrier and angrier. So yeah, like when you're trying to get shit done, even a minor inconvenience is it's so aggravating.
Oh yeah, because they become so much more stark and they pile up so quickly. So if I'm like sitting there like, oh shoot, I've got 2 minutes to get to class, and the staircase is just going to change, and like apparently the way the school is designed, like that's critical. Like they don't seem to have a whole lot of like alternate routes, which you would think that you would want to consider if you're going to have a staircase that can just like choose to mess with you every now and again. And
they don't have elevators.
Like I would lose my mind. I would just be livid on a regular basis. I would be petitioning the headmaster and being like, you disenchant these or I'm calling in a safety concern about this crap.
Put in some elevators or some teleporting chambers. I mean, what about the handy capable students? I guess this is
Right?
an exclusive eugenicist wizard school.
No, they just do the magical legs be a moving spell, and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, they get onto the forbidden third floor, and then the narrator says, "And if found, they will be killed on sight. No questions asked."
Kill outside,
And then,
no questions asked. By none other
and
than
then of course,
Dazzler.
then of course they're caught by the blood-eyed cat of security, and they make their way through the cobwebbery and the darkness, like blind little cave fish, hungry for eyes or reason to have eyes, only to meet
Reason
another
to
dead
have
end.
eyes.
It's such a creative, weird line.
Right.
They run into they run into a dead end, and Harry says, "Freaking door! It's fucking magic locked." Perfectly, like absolutely perfectly in time with the way that the actor is talking. It's
the way
great.
he like throws the lock because he's just so mad.
So instead of Harmony, the wretched Harmony, instead of her using Alohomora, the wretched Harmony casts a spell so badass that the lock falls apart and becomes a gas of rose petals that goes up their noses like a baby's challenge. What is a baby's challenge? I don't know, but I like it.
I want to know so bad. What, like, is it something like, is it a challenge you would give to babies? Is it a baby that's challenging you? Why does it have to do with roses?
I think they're saying that it's no challenge. It's no challenge at all. So much so that a baby could do it.
But so it's like it's a challenge for babies. That's how not of a challenge it is.
So they get into this locked room, and then they are presented with Fluffy, which brings me to our next clip.
Whoa! Lying before them is a supersized portion of God's freak show creations, a 3-headed giant dog, and it's getting out of a dream of eating kids, one for each head, and hurrah for the dog! The dream has come true.
I love that so much, and he sounds so excited while he's saying,
yeah, he's like, he's so thrilled for the dog. Hurrah for the dog!
So great.
It's so good.
Why don't you read us the next line there?
Let's see here. Obviously, it is still sleepy, for our 3 heroes are able to bar the door against it and get away safely. Harry puts up with the wretched bickering with the bear over the practicality of a hungry 3-headed giant dog and a school full of tasty kids when the wretch points out that it had to be guarding something.
So that leads us to our next clip.
Harry takes note of this, and out of respect for her detective prowess, lets the wretch vent a little while before he takes his leave of her with the bear.
And this is followed by, I counted it, 10 seconds of silence while Harmony is talking, which is just so absurd.
It's just her ranting, like the whole time when she's yelling at them in the movie. That's just him saying, like, yeah, and he just lets her vent, and it just. And we sit and we wait.
It's so funny, and it feels like forever when you're watching it.
Yeah, it feels so long. Like that's one of those things that I think a lot of people don't really conceptualize because we don't have much of a reason to ever like pause and think about it. But 10 seconds of nothing is a significant amount of time. Like that is a lot more time than you would think that 10 minutes should be once you actually sit and feel it.
At least like 2 paragraphs of speaking right there.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Oh yeah.
If you're Eminem, then you can fit in an entire novel.
Yep, that's no doubt. On a bad day.
After that, it says both he and Ron are just hoping to score a few bottles of wine to go with the olives that they pinched from the kitchen. And that leads us into chapter 17. And chapter 17 is titled More Training. Harry can hardly keep his heart in his clothes as he walks onto the cribbage field with Major Wood, his first lesson in the sport that could give him an outlet for his gathering rage and power. This is a great line. Major Wood's accent is so thick that Harry only hears it as a sort of music, a music from a shiny, muscular horn, a music of brotherhood and balls.
I would love it if one day someone would describe anything about me in such wonderful and poetic ways.
This is this is a very flowery, flattering language for whoever the actor is that plays Major Wood.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
So then Wood is going through like the different components of the game with him. He shows him the Beaters Club, and Harry, nails a bludger away. He shows him the quaffle, and then finally he shows him the golden snitch. And Harry is immediately nearly out of his skin with excitement over this ball. His destiny is here in this orb. He can feel it, like someone just kicked him in his fruit stand. Fruit stand. Catch this
Oh, man.
ball, Harry, and we win the game. Harry's face explodes in a smile. This orb seems to be plucked from under Midas's tunic.
That's
Another
such a
great
good
line.
line. That's so good.
Now, this kind of brings in one of the absurdities of the rules of Quidditch when it comes to Harry Potter lore.
Oh,
Catch
yeah.
this ball, Harry, and we win the game. Nothing else in the game matters. Not a goddamn thing. Just catch the snitch and we win. That's really pretty much true, with the
That's so
exception
accurate.
of with the exception of the game from the Quidditch World Cup, of course.
I know, right? Like, she had to go out of her way to try and find some way to make it unique and interesting, because otherwise it really is. It's just all about that. It's like, can you imagine, like, if you're sitting there, like, this is the best description of how absurd it is I've ever heard. This isn't mine. There's just some, like, random commenter, probably on Reddit. I don't even remember where I read the comment, but someone describing how absurd it is. It was like, imagine that you're watching, like, a hockey game, right? And it's the most intense match you've ever seen. It's like going back and forth, and it's so exciting. And they're going along and they're playing, and it's so close, and it's been intense, and everyone's like just playing their hearts out. And then all of a sudden someone comes over the PA system and says like, and the game's over. Pedro caught a frog out in the parking lot, and that means they win the game. And like everything you just witnessed was all for nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty apt. The rules are ridiculous.
Yeah. Absolutely astonishing that there wasn't a single point in the creation of this sport that were like there was any self-reflection about like, is this actually fair, or is this just like some weird way to offer Harry a way to be a hero?
Yeah, I know. It's really silly rules, really silly. So now that leads us into their first charms lesson, which it's up there in the top 10 for my favorite. I know I just keep fucking saying that. Oh, this is my favorite. Oh, this is one of my favorites. But when you're as enthusiastic about this as I am, then a lot of
it's
them end up
because
being
the
your favorites.
whole production is one of our favorites.
They introduce Professor Flitwick as well, let me just go into the line. Among totally what the fuck styled faces, Professor Ugnaught starts off class on levitation. All the kids sit bored out of their asses in what looks like a courtroom. And, Flitwick does look absolutely bizarre in this interpretation.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, in the early, like the first two movies, they really kind of leaned into let's make him just like a really weird looking guy.
Yeah, he looks pretty weird. He did not have his glow up yet, which I can't remember if it happens in the second or the third movie, but he eventually gets his glow up to the guy that we know and love.
Yeah, I feel like it's the third movie. So many changes occurred between 2 and 3. Like 1 and 2 have a very distinct like set design, directorial direction, and then they swapped up directors. I think it was primarily the directors, although there's probably a lot of change ups that kind of happened along the way for the number of changes. But then you get to 3 and the whole vibe changes intensely. And I remember going to see the third movie in theaters and like for a little while thinking like, is this actually the same series? This seems so extreme how different things are now.
Oh yeah, they're no longer wearing uniforms. Now they just wear pajamas through the whole movie.
Right?
So in this scene, I mean, Brad pulls no punches with Flitwick. He tears him the fuck apart, and it is absolutely hilarious.
And like the thing about it too, though, is I almost feel like it's fair game, because really the way he's making fun of it is just making fun of like the costuming choices and whatnot, the costuming and makeup
choices.
Yeah,
it was bizarre. Although I have to say, when I read the books and when I first saw the movie, albeit this is like, 20 years ago.
Uh,
More than that, actually, when I first saw the movies. But I remember thinking, yeah, that's kind of what I expected him to look like. I expected him to look kind of odd.
yeah, like I feel like my reaction was something along the lines of, I didn't imagine that, but I buy it.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1. Do you know how many times I say that line and people just look at me like I'm a psycho?
I can imagine it's a lot.
I say that all the time. It's RoboCop. Beautiful.
Oh, I know.
And it's so upsetting to me that more people don't know that. I'm saying it for the benefit of any audience members. Educate yourselves. It's RoboCop. It's a brilliant movie.
I know what you're talking about because you and I are on the same level. So all the children are trying to they're trying to learn the levitation spell, but their minds are on that weirdo professor.
What the fuck is he? I mean, just look at him. He's such a little weirdo. They all try very hard to pay attention, but his voice chirps out of his little bundled up body in jerky attacks at normalcy.
I really love that because he kind of comes out of the narration and he's like personally commenting on it. Oh, dude, what the fuck is he? I mean, look at him.
What the fuck is that? He really becomes one of the kids. What the fuck is that?
It's so good. Every child thinks that he's weird except Harmony. Harmony, being so wretched herself, feels quite at home with the hideous creature and is able to levitate her feather with no trouble. But the bear, being so disgusted with Ugnaught, turns his attention to Harmony. She seems to think that Ronnie can't do a simple levitation spell and makes a big to-do about her quick-witted abilities. So Harmony levitates the feather, of course, and Flitwick is absolutely delighted, and I'd like you to read his reaction.
Her spell is a delight for the professor. His head looks like a happy pizza left in a chicken house covered in feathery bird sweat and oily discharge. Yuckers.
It's great.
I say yuckers all the time, too. Like, that is definitely part of my vernacular these days.
One of my favorite things to say is, what the fuck is he? Look at him. He's such a little weirdo.
He's such a little weirdo.
And then, of course, it's not commented on in the commentary, but we have the part where Seamus Finnegan, creates an explosion like he always does in the movies.
Oh, yeah.
And then it zooms in on Harry's face. Harry only sits there in a stupor. He, too, is overwhelmed with the talking pizza. So great. Then the boys are walking along, making fun of Harmony like they do in the actual movie. Doing impressions of the wretched Harmony when the desperate creature herself bustles by, obviously very hurt. Now, Harry knows that he's got to make it right, even though it feels so good to make it wrong. That's a good line.
Boy.
So next up is Chapter 18, which is, I think in the YouTube series, it's titled Halloween, Yes. But I changed it to Kill That Fudging Troll. So it intros with Halloween, yes, gorgeous floating Jackie O's in the cafeteria, and every
Jackie
student
O's.
is speaking. Yeah, like Jackie Onassis Kennedy or Jack-o'-lanterns. It's a great play on words. The spread is beautiful. There are apples, candied apples, appled candy, candied whiskey, appled fritters, anything you could ever want. I'm into the idea of
candy and apple.
I'm into the idea of appled and candied whiskey. That sounds very interesting.
I am so desperate to know what candied whiskey really would be.
Probably more like a liqueur, like a dessert liquor or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. I buy that.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
So then Upfish is talking to HP and the bear and informs them that Harmony has locked herself in the bathroom. She's been crying all day.
Harry feels guilt pangs about this information. But Ronnie the Bear, he could give a fuck.
And when he says this line, it zooms in on Rupert Grint, kind of doing like a shrug with a slightly sheepish expression.
Yeah, right? So, like, it's just like, I don't know.
It is so fucking hysterical.
I remember this was definitely one of the lines and deliveries that the first time I watched this made me just absolutely bust laughing. Like I could not contain myself. I thought it was so hilarious.
I know. This is one of those lines that is just so funny that like you kind of lose track of everything after it for about 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 1,000,000%.
And then Queerman comes in. He's rambling about the troll loose in the castle. There's an absolute panic, and some of the descriptors are pretty funny. Apple chunks are cannoned out of screaming mouths.
Oh, I was just saying that's so visceral, that image.
It's a good one. But then the near dead Dumbledore commands everyone's attention with a mighty roar.
Don't panic, he says. Teachers, grab your spell bags. We will find this fucking troll and we will kill his fucking ass.
So good.
Just
so absolutely stellar.
Me.
Find this fucking troll and we will kill his fucking ass.
That's another line where like I just can't hold it together after that. It's so funny.
It's so good.
After this line, Snake seems scared out of her bloomers and disappears out the side door in cowardice.
Which is so good because it's such a bizarre thing in the movie. It's like, why is there a door right there? And why doesn't anyone else like consider using that door? Why is Snape just free to like kind of, exit stage left like that?
It's the side door, for the professors who were taking a nap and missed the curtain call.
Yeah,
or
right,
they were drunk.
Right. Yeah.
Or they were drunk.
Or all
everybody
of the above.
Seems to be
maybe they took
world.
a nap because they were drunk, sleeping off another tequila sunrise.
So, as they're moving back to the common room, Harry and Ron, discuss that Harmony doesn't know about the troll and is in danger. And then Harry says, "This is the perfect chance to make it up to her. We'll save her, and if we're lucky, we can sneak a peek at Dumbledore's chops." Such a funny line.
Right.
They use I think he only uses the term chops maybe twice or three times, but it seems to register. Clearly, he's into the word chops. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Enviroboy, were you in band in like middle school and high school?
Yeah, I was a percussionist. I was one of those annoying drummers who thought he was really cool because he was one of the cool kids within band, which is kind of like being the rich kid on the poor block. You know what I mean? It doesn't actually mean a whole lot.
Okay. Well, then maybe you can relate. I played the horn and the trumpet, and we used the term chops to like refer to our embouchure, which it sounds like I'm being like a pretentious Frenchman saying that, but the word embouchure, for those who are uninitiated, refers to the way that you like shape your mouth in order to properly.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the way you position your mouth in your mouthpiece or whatever.
Yep. So we always use that to refer to chops, but he refers to it as like skills.
Yeah, and that's actually, for me, that's more akin to how I've always heard it, because as a percussionist, it's not like I ever gave a rip about embouchure for sure.
Yeah, you didn't have.
And I don't know if that vernacular was one that was common at my school or not. I don't know. Maybe they said that. But for me, I've always heard chops as like your skills or your abilities. Like it like show us your chops. He's got serious chops.
Exactly. So then they see the troll going into the girl's crapper. I cracked myself up there. Going into the girl's crapper. Jesus, Harmony is in there.
Jesus, Harmony is in there.
And then Harry doesn't think. He knows what he must do. Harmony is confronted with the troll. She slowly backs away, but the troll will not have it. He swings like a drunken major leaguer. But triumphant music appears. HP and Ronnie the effing bear bust in on that troll.
Ronnie the effing bear.
And start selflessly defending that wretched girl by straightaway barraging that troll with spells that even mountains could hardly weather. Now, the footage reveals that those spells are actually just pieces of wood and plaster.
It's so good. Like, I love when he does those little dichotomies, because like it really highlights the fact that reality. Like I don't think like we actually see Harry cast a single actual spell in the first movie. Like if
Wow,
he
I
does,
didn't
it's
think
like
about that.
once. Yeah, like
Yeah,
if
you
he
might
does,
be
it's like
right.
once. But like, yeah, we don't actually see him cast any magic, and so the fact that every time there's like magic happen, like he describes magic happening, it's just like people doing things like the stand without effort spell is just a dude standing up. I feel like that kind of is a cheeky little call out to that.
But don't forget, he casts the Glass Be Gone spell and the Glass Be Back spell.
Yeah, of
Yep, there you
course.
go. There you
There it
go.
is.
So, why don't you read the next line?
Crazed with fists of fury, Harry brandishes the crap out of his wand and springs onto that troll's head. No problemo. He shakes that troll back and forth and rams his wand up into the nose, poking over and over at what has to be the smallest frontal lobe in existence. But that troll gets lucky, and he grabs Harry and holds him up by his leg. And he is about to bash him with his stupid drumstick. Whoosh! Whoosh! He's just barely missing.
And that refers back to a line that I missed. He refers to his club as a turkey drumstick, a giant turkey drumstick, which is really what it looks like.
It really, yeah,
There's
it's got that like classic like newspaper cartoon caveman club look to it.
To me, his drumstick, it reminds me of a much more contemporary item. Anybody who's familiar with Elden Ring, it's one of my all-time favorite games. I know you're a fan of it too, Enviroboy, because
Oh, absolutely.
I watch your Let's Plays on Elden Ring. They're my favorite part of your channel.
Oh, thank you.
The turkey drumstick reminds me of the blood themed arm, which is literally in the game. It's literally just like the arm of like this monster that's been ripped off and used as a club. Kind of reminds me of that. I don't know if you've seen it yet, because I don't think you've played the DLC yet, have you?
I have not. No, I'm working my way through the game exactly because when the DLC came out, it had been so long since I'd done a playthrough anyway. So I was like, you know what, we'll just do a sequential thing. We'll do that, and it means I'll get to the DLC late. But hey, I can check it and find. I think it's on sale for the winter sale right now. So there we go.
Oh yeah, the winter sale. Oh yeah. Oh, we're outing ourselves. I'm gonna have to edit this out. The time of year is the time of year. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Well,
they're gonna cross-reference it with the moon cycles. They're gonna find out where we are to figure it all out.
Well, summon me when you do the DLC. But anyway, who but the brave Ronnie the Bear whips out the old levitation spell, hovers the troll's trub. God damn it. Hovers the troll's club overhead, only to command it right back down on that troll's grody face. Thank God for that hideous pizza that taught me that move, whispers Ronnie to himself.
Thank God for that hideous pizza. I mean, what the fuck is he?
Of course, the troll is conquered. Harry retrieves his wand in its most boogery state. And just as the kids are regaining their cool, Hardcastle McCormick and a gaggle of teachers, Snake included, rustle into the bathroom. She's pissed over the kids' safety being compromised and on the edge of a spastic dookie when she sees the troll's body. And that leads us.
Oh my God.
That leads us to our next scene with Harmony making a confession.
I was in here crying like an idiot, and these badass new gods came in and saved me. If it wasn't for them, I'd be in that troll's stomach for sure.
This is the first line where Brad refers to Harry and Ron as new gods or badass new gods.
These badass new gods.
It's a great line, but anyway, this is a really great line right here. Then, dear readers, Harry notices a tear in Snape's pants and blood all over her leg. And Snape notices that Harry has noticed. And he notices that she noticed that. I mean, there is a trade of noticing going on here that is just bewildering. It's such a funny line. It just cracks me up.
That's so good.
And then the very last line of this chapter is Hardcastle then scolds Harmony and demerits her a hard 20 points. Ouch.
Ouch.
Okay, everybody. And that actually brings us to halfway through Dear Reader. Wizard people, Dear Reader, that is. The next.
Golly, we thought this might be like 1 or 2 episodes.
That never happens with us. Are you kidding me?
I'm glad for it. I like being able to actually discuss things in detail.
I don't mind at all. So next up, we will be going on to chapter 19, which is the cribbage match. I look very much forward to this. I'm hoping that
so excited.
I'm hoping that Newsman Boyer can join us for that episode because it's just so funny.
It would be so excellent if he could join us for that one. I really hope that works out.
Well, all right. Thank you for listening, everyone. We look forward to seeing you again with episode 4 of our deep dive into Wizard People Dear Reader. Take care.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. This episode of Nerd Cabal was produced and edited by Cohesive Key and co-hosted by EnviroBoy. This concludes tonight's gathering. Join us next time for more revelations of Wizard People Dear Reader. Carry forth the chaos with you, and remember our mantra, Ex locus interdictus sapientia. From forbidden places comes wisdom.